everyone, and welcome to EVTN News, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. Wait 1 second. Hold on. All right. I'm getting I don't know. I kind of felt like I just got trapped in a vortex. All right. Well, not sure where I got that. Not sure where I got that from, but this week the Masters golf tournament is putting everyone in a strange mood. So, and for me, it's really hard to focus on anything else because I don't know. A little bit of personal information about me is that I'm a big fan of golf, at least, well, watching, not playing. And yeah, and you can feel free to debate me on that. Although, if you're not a fan of golf, I don't know. I mean, you do you. I mean, you know. But anyway, all right. So I'd like to get to, well, I guess I'll take off my church militant magic glasses. Oh wait, where did I come up with that? What is that? What is church militant? Some kind of strange dream from the past or something. Anyway, let's go back to some of the topics I was talking about in previous episodes. So I got two things to revisit, and the first is the new Omaha Archbishop. So this is Michael McGovern. So he was originally from Chicago, and I said, that's not a great, that's not a very what should I say, a positive sign. And it turns out that he's a Biden bishop. So several years ago, Cardinal Subich basically organized an initiative for bishops to sign this document stating that they would not deny communion to Biden. Well, I don't think they specifically mentioned Biden by name, but basically saying that they would not deny communion to anyone. So this Archbishop, Omaha Archbishop Michael McGovern, is a Biden bishop. So that's really negative, really bad for them. Let's see. And another story I want to revisit, and I have to give the Pillar, I got to give them a shout out on this. So, the Pillar, all right, they ran this story that I've been talking about for months maybe, I don't know if it's months. So they said that they ran this story on the new Detroit Archbishop Robert Kissy and his basically perv organization that he was in charge of that ended up getting shut down because of scandal, basically. And this new Detroit Archbishop was promoted straight from a auxiliary bishop. So he was never in charge of a diocese, and now he's in charge of an archdiocese. There's something sketchy going on, and it turns out, yeah, that's why, because he was part of this perv priest recruiting organization, and that probably had a factor to do with his promotion, because Francis just seems to promote the perviest characters. So, all right, let's get into the news. Oh, I guess this is another article revisited. So the Institute of Christ the King was kicked out of Oakland, California. Effective April 20th, so this is from Oakland. Effective April 20th, the Institute of Christ the King will cease its ministry at St. Margaret Mary Parish in Oakland, following a visitation of the parish Bishop Michael Barber, S.J., age 70, of Oakland, California, has appointed the parish priest of the church to celebrate the traditional Roman rite himself. Previously, the Institute of Christ the King had long asked for its own church to celebrate Mass rather than sharing a parish church, which is a reasonable request. For the time being, the Institute's priest will move to Holy Rosary Chapel in California in a different archdiocese, the Archdiocese of San Francisco, where the Institute is already present. So they were legitimately kicked out because they were asking for their own parish, and the Jesuit bishop decided decided that he wouldn't give them a parish. I'm sure there's plenty. So yeah. So I wonder if the institute, or I wonder if the diocesan priest that will celebrate the TLM there, I wonder if he will be permitted to give the sacraments, namely baptism and marriage. I don't know, but it's going to be questionable there. Okay, so Pachamama Cardinal Carlos Castillo Matasoglio, age 75, of Lima, Peru, used the Gospel of the Prodigal Son last Sunday to attack Catholics. During a sermon in his cathedral, Cardinal Castillo spoke of the attitude of the older brother who complained he had worked hard without receiving even a small goat in return. Cardinal Castillo said, "This is what happens today with the older sectors of the Christian faith who tell us that we should not celebrate with so much movement, that we should not dance or sing. But they want a Mass in Latin. Sad. They do not even understand, and yet they believe that they are the divine ointment. These brothers are also called to feel loved by God and to change," he said. So, Bible references to older brothers, even in the situation of the prodigal son, this might be true, but that can be interpreted as a reference to a certain religious group who demanded the crucifixion of Jesus, people of the Old Covenant. So the older brothers, yeah, that might not be such a great analogy, but just to say, okay, so he was insulting Catholics for not wanting liturgical dance. So this is a cardinal, by the way. That's pathetic, really pathetic. And then, not giving up, continuing along the same line. So the Archbishop of Reims and the president of the French bishops, Eric Marie de Molins Beaufort, he said the pilgrimage of the Ecclesia Dei communities from Paris to Chartres plays with ambiguity. In an interview with a so-called Catholic magazine, he claimed that initially the participants undoubtedly came in search of what the organizers were promoting, that is, reassurance in the worship of the supposedly traditional form of the Roman Rite. No, it's not supposedly. It's not supposedly the traditional form of the Roman Rite. It's the sole expression of the Roman Rite. What de Molins calls the supposedly traditional form of the Roman Rite is the Holy Mass that was celebrated throughout Christianity. He has never taken part in the Chartres pilgrimage and believes that today many people are looking for an atmosphere, an exceptional moment to assert themselves as Catholics, as Frenchmen with flags, banners, and the challenge of a physical effort. The Archbishop also insults the organizers who, according to him, are becoming more and more rigid, I fear, in an understanding of tradition that ends up being wrong. No, it won't be wrong. History will prove you wrong. They'll prove the 70s so-called Catholicism was basically heresy and an abandonment of everything Catholic. But in what follows, de Molins shows that his understanding of tradition is wrong. So, okay, that's very nice. Or not very nice, I guess. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, Cardinal Kissy. Okay, well, Dignitas Infinita firmly rejected gender distortion and condemned LMNOP change procedures or surgery as incompatible with human dignity. Cardinal Kissy Fernandez issued a clarification. It was posted in the dicastery's official website exclusively in German and Italian. It introduces a reinterpretation that departs from the document's more original moral, the document's original statement. It says moral clarity. I don't believe that. It wasn't morally clear at all. Does everyone have infinite dignity? Because if they did, none of the souls would go to hell, right? When the document uses the expression, Cardinal Fernandez said, when the document uses the expression as a rule, it does not exclude the possibility that there are cases outside the norm. He referenced cases of severe dysphoria which might lead a person toward suicide. In those instances, he suggested medical interventions that would otherwise be morally impermissible might need to be assessed with great care. He said, we don't want to be cruel and say that we don't understand the conditioning of people and the deep suffering that exists in some cases of dysphoria, which manifests itself in childhood. What? That's not true. So basically, he suggested that it's not always wrong, and in which case he's wrong. So anyway, Kissy, he's been wrong on a lot of things. So yes, and he's also one of the people that writes strange books. Okay, so there was an article posted on the Chicago Catholic website. The article title was "Ministry Highlights Women Altar Servers at Cathedral." So I'm just going to read just a short segment here. So when Cardinal Cupich first arrived in the Archdiocese of Chicago in 2014, he made a change that was immediately visible during services at Holy Name Cathedral, so they don't even call them masses. He instituted a ministry to recruit women altar servers, so basically like a Protestant sect. The current director of liturgy at Holy Name Cathedral, Father Andrew Matijevich, was a seminarian serving at Holy Name when the new ministry was established. So did they kick him out because he was a man? did they let the women serve and this guy just could sit in the pews, or what? He remembers when it began. He said, it was very clear that the cardinal wanted women because serving at the altar is not a male role. Is it a women's role? Does he mean it's not an exclusively male role? Because it is. He said it's a lay person's responsibility. The cardinal's vision was to show the world that women have a place in the church and they have gifts. They have gifts to give in serving at the altar. Now, does he mean as a priest or a deacon, a priestess or a deaconess, deaconette? This is heresy. Women altar servers are an abomination. Okay, everyone knows that. Numerous popes condemned it. It's not right. It doesn't matter what the modernists say, because look at the numbers. It's not inspiring people. They're not called to serve at the altar. It's not a women's responsibility. It's not a women's role. Not at all. Women should be praying the rosary in the pews during Mass. Okay. Cardinal McCarrick has died at the age of 94. And it's very interesting to see the reactions to his death. No one has actually... I don't think I've even seen anyone say to pray for his soul. yeah, just kind of very interesting. And I just wonder because, I know that Francis hasn't committed the crimes that McCarrick has, but Francis associates with these people, and I just wonder if the response to Francis's death will be similar to that of McCarrick, where people just have minimal sympathy. No, they won't. They won't, because I don't know. I mean, both are destroying the church, just in their own separate ways. Both are have friends who are very influential leftists. And it just so happened that McCarrick molested a lot of people, but he still destroyed the church at the same time. So McCarrick had tremendous wealth. Who are the beneficiaries of the estates? I'm sure they're working their deals out right now. They're really looking into what they need to do. Will we ever find out? I suspect that a lot of secrets will die with McCarrick. Anyone who has further information on McCarrick will release it very soon. McCarrick just died within the past... Oh no, he died on Friday. Today is Monday. These people have had plenty of time to release the information. If they're going to release it, they would release it probably within the next week. If we don't hear anything by then, I don't think we'll ever hear anything. Unless someone... Because this is how things happen. If you're not... And even those who are of goodwill within the Catholic faith, sometimes they can be manipulated and fall prey to some sin, greed, especially. But those who are within the Catholic faith that have bad intentions, like I would guess that many of the cardinals are very ambitious to climb up the ladder. They don't... I mean, you can tell they're not particularly interested in promoting the Catholic faith. And these guys are united in their goal of destroying the faith, destroying the church. They won't, but they're fairly successful so far. They won't destroy the church because, corrupt bishops don't represent the Catholic faith, as unfortunate as it is to say. But that doesn't mean that they can't do their best to try. And so, anyway, what I was getting to was these guys seem pretty united at this point, especially under Francis, because they're given free rein to promote their errors, and it's a real disaster. But if one of them is left out of the will, and they thought they were in it, then the backstabbing will start. Now, it does take a while, like possibly years, to settle the estate, so we may not necessarily see anything right away, but if someone expects a few $1,000,000 and they get $0, what's going to happen? They're going to get very angry, and then maybe they'll go public with what they know. It might be the wake-up call for them. Of course, someone could always pay them off. I don't know. It's really hard to speculate where the money's going to go, especially after the Vatican was pressured to do something about McCarrick. The USCCB wanted to investigate McCarrick, and I don't know. There are still a few bishops at the USCCB with some integrity, but McElroy controls the files in Washington. He now has the control over the Washington D.C. files. Um, the USCCB doesn't really have any power or authority to do anything about that. I don't know. But don't expect anything to happen. If it does, divine providence. If it doesn't, I told you so. All right. Do you have any thoughts on what will happen? Let me know. This is Passion Week. It's also Masters Week. Yeah, so I'll be watching golf this weekend. And also, it's Sunday is Palm Sunday, so of course I'll get to Mass. You know, if you live in a region where the NFL there's a favorite NFL team, you'll know that Sundays are Sundays. The NFL is their religion, at least in once it starts in the fall. But yeah, just treat sports in its place, or put sports in its place, and everything else. But you know, put your Catholic faith at the center of your life, and see what else falls in line. See what else falls into place. Okay. Well, this has been EVTN News. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. We are the laity, and we will not be silent.